Hello, everyone, and welcome to the 13th episode of Fictional Characters Collide. And remember to check out the animator, Pelpa Paintinator, for this awesome animation. And now, let's get on to the fight. In tonight's episode, we got the Battle of the Boxing Underdogs. Makunouchi Ippo the KO comeback king from Hajime no Ippo versus Little Mac the Bruiser from the Bronx from Punch-Out. It's your Rule of the Great Demon here. It's my job to analyze both these characters to see what would happen when these two fictional characters collide. Now let's start this battle off with Makunouchi Ippo. Ippo lived alone with his mother, looking after the boating and fishing shop that his dad left behind after he died in the sea. Ippo had only one question on his mind. What is it like to be strong? You see, Ippo was pretty much a bitch. Ippo got the shit kicked out of him every day by the school bullies. Yeah, you gotta feel weak after that, people. And I can understand where Ippo's coming from, getting bullied a lot. Well, let's not talk about my life right now. We have to talk about Ippo's. You gotta feel weak out of that, you know? It was another day of getting beaten up when suddenly his savior, Takamura Mamoru, a boxer at a local boxing gym, saved him. Awe-shocked by Takamura's strength and bravery, Ippo begged to be brought to the gym. He was introduced to boxer and trainer Kamigara Genji. And no, people, not that Genji, this Genji. Genji discovered that Ippo's had a natural talent for powerful punches. In fact, his natural affinity for boxing came from working on on fishing boats his whole life. He developed a inhuman strength from carrying coolers filled with ice and fish, and a natural balance by standing on rocking boats out in the sea. Kamigara trained Ippo to use the peekaboo stance, a stance popularized by Mike Tyson himself. And yes, Mike Tyson, the Kid Dynamite himself, used the peekaboo stance in order to make use of Ippo's talents and work on his weaker defense. And the training that Ippo goes through would bring a normal man to your knees. I mean, he runs full speed at metal bars or striking logs into freaking hillsides with a hammer, which is not as impressive as people like Takamura, who can punch that stuff with his bare fist. But he doesn't resent it. One of Ippo's main strengths in his superhuman willpower, he fights not for glory or fame, but to become strong like his father was and to face his rival Miyata Ichiro on the world stage. In training for the fateful fight, he developed quite the arsenal. For example, the liver blow. This powerful punch goes and breaks the ribs and often cripples outboxers by hitting them hard right into the liver. Or the gazelle punch, a really high tactical uppercut that hits people right on sight into the head. But nothing could top his almighty move, the Dipsy roll, that was originally made by former featherweight champion John Dipsy. A deadly technique that combines figure-8 weaving and powerful hooks. But this technique has also earned him the nickname, the Wind God. The free-form Dipsy roll even adds uppercuts into the mix, creating an unpredictable engine of pain. However, he only used this form of the Dipsy roll once, as using it too much would ruin his muscles and shorten his career even more. His career so far has been spectacular, 23 wins and only 2 losses. All of his victories have been KOs, but he only lost to 2 people. He also has become the Japanese featherweight champion and the unofficial USBF champion. He has lost to the previous Japanese champion Dante Ige and the second-weight featherweight fighter in the World Series, Alfredo Gonzalez. But imagine these two people. These two people were amazing fighters, but one's a champion and one's in the second rank of the world circuit. But defeating Ippo is quite the chore, people. Ippo has an uncanny ability to keep getting back after he's been knocked down. Like most anime heroes, he has the willpower to never go down. His willpower is completely unmatched. But that's not all that makes him impressive. In his battle against Kojima Hasido, he took a punch that an arcade game rated as at 2 tons of force. But did he go down? No, he took this punch and freaking braced himself and knocked Kojima the hell out with one punch, people. He one punch man that guy. His speed is also impressive. This includes his punching speed, which is sometimes faster than the eye can see, and his ability to step in and corner the opponent before they can realize it. Ippo's specialty is getting in really close to an opponent. It's this technique that lets him crush out boxers who would normally hold an advantage over him. But Ippo isn't perfect, people. His style is hilariously predictable. I mean, people have studied his style of fighting for so long just to fight him. So you can say that his fight style is easily predictable and can be countered easily, because it's been shown multiple times of every fight that they know what they can do to stop him. And he isn't an instinctual or intellectual boxer by any means. Most of the time he just charges at people and hopes it works. And his differential is notoriously weak to counters. But Ippo still fights on with one thought in mind, like always, is what does it mean to be strong? So all in all, Ippo is an amazing fighter who took the featherweight title from Japan, and also has a notorious fighting style and great record. But his ultimate move is predictable, and so is his fighting style to most people. But is he strong enough to take on Little Mac? The WVBA has attracted a number of notable boxers. Glass Joe to Piston Hondo, Don Flamenco to even Mike Tyson himself. A lot of these people are amazing fighters, and no one could believe that anyone can defeat them. But there's been one little guy who hasn't even hit puberty yet that's taken them all down. This guy is the little man with a big punch, or the bruiser from the Bronx, Little Mac. Little is known about Little Mac's backstory, other than that he grew up in the Bronx, so you know he's already tough, people. If you grew up from the Bronx, you're already tough. He went to New York after taking interest in the World Video Boxing Association, so that he could find someone who can train him. But that really didn't help. He didn't have much luck. He was denied by over 200 coaches, as he seemed to be too weak for his size and weight. Until he met the notorious Doc Lewis, the inventor of the Star Punch and the former heavyweight champion. Doc Lewis trained Mac and eventually assisted him in tackling the world circuit. Since then, he became champion, retired, became champion again, retired again, became champion the third time, and then retired again for good. At least he decided, because that's a bit wishy-washy right there, Mac. You have to decide. Come on. And the folks of the WVBA aren't your average boxers. There are teleporting magicians like the Great Tiger, spin-kicking kickboxers, shine freaking hippos, like freaking King Hippo. Who the fuck is that? What the heck is that? Is that even legal to put into a boxing match? But here's the thing. The WVBA operates a bit differently than our world's boxing. Headbutting and kickboxing doesn't seem to be against the rules there, since the referee doesn't stop anyone, and you can bring like a horseshoe if you need to. Freaking air, Ryan, you mother. There aren't even weight classes, and speaking of which, Little Mac's weight is a grand total of 107 pounds and a height of 5'7". That will put him at the light featherweight class. In the real WBC, one of the lightest weight classes in modern boxing. But don't let his small size and weight fool you, people. Little Mac packs a big punch. His fists are strong enough to knock out even heavyweights. He's also master of dodging and attacking. He's even better at finding weak points. That's right, people. Though he's technically more of an outboxer. He won almost all of his matches by dodging and countering. When the opponent is vulnerable, he even managed to knock down Bald Bull and many others in a single well-timed hit. In fact, if he hits an opponent at just the right time, he can use the Star Punch, a powerful and precise uppercut, or the KO punch, a more well-timed fight when he hits when he needs to actually power up higher than the actual Star Punch. And since he began, he fought men that are twice his size, or even went toe-to-toe with freaking Mike Tyson. But we have to call that an outlier, since Mike Tyson that they brought into the game isn't really a Mike Tyson that would fight like that. I mean, Mike Tyson would have fought way different. And it doesn't stop there. If you thought King Hippo was crazy enough, watch Little Mac take on freaking Donkey Kong, people. Most of Mac's opponents are several weight classes above him. some weighing twice his weight. This includes King Hippo, whose weight is, well, technically unknown, but we can assume it's pretty high based on his cutscene of him just eating and devouring a whole island. And remember the teleporting guy known as the Great Tiger we mentioned earlier? Well, Mac has fought a ton of guys with nice, superhuman capabilities like him, including a man that practiced against bears, one that punches bulls into the oblivion. On top of his power, Mac's speed is incredible. Also, Little Mac has the Giga Mac. This is when he turns into the freaking Hulk. He becomes even stronger than he is, but he needs to constantly taunt to keep this form up for a couple of seconds. But during this, he does get rid of strategy and speed for credible strength. Not only he can dodge attacks that are almost too fast to see, like from hits and Hondo, who is faster to go against a bullet train. Attacks that are also too fast to see. He can punch 3 or 4 times in just 1 second. Mac has also the uncanny ability to regenerate health between rounds, as well when the opponent is down. Speaking of going down, Mac has shown the ability to stand after knockout punches through the sheer power of will. So he's pretty much like an anime character we talked about already, guys. But Mac is not without his weaknesses. He's a bit of a glass cannon, going down with just 1 dynamite punch from Mike Tyson. Despite this, he can still take hits from people like Donkey Kong and the wall-destroying Mr. Sandman. So he must be doing something right. Though Mac is good at recovering stamina, he loses it pretty quickly. Just blocking attacks, lowering his stamina slowly. Even having his own attack block leaves him glowing pink. Despite his flaws, Little Mac has rose through the ranks and became probably the most recognizable boxer in video game history. But is he strong enough to take out Makunouchi Ippo? Let's find out. Okay, the cabans are set. Let's settle this once and for all. It's time for fictional characters collide. Wow, not every day that you see a video game character actually be an anime character, am I right, people? Well, first, before we explain this fight, let's go check out the anime first, Peppa Painter, for this amazing animation. But now let's explain why Little Mac would win this fight. While Ippo is very powerful in fighting, Little Mac is decidedly more powerful. Ippo is used to fighting people within his own weight class, whereas Mac has been fighting heavyweight people since day one. Bear Hugger, for instance, weighs 440 pounds, nearly 4 times Mac's weight. And according to Donkey Kong 64, Donkey Kong weighs over 800 pounds. You have to be pretty freaking strong to knock out someone that powerful and that heavy. And did I mention that's freaking Donkey Kong, a guy who knocked out a freaking moon into orbit. In addition, Ippo's main style is the peekaboo stance, a style used by Mike Tyson himself, which, you know, Little Mac already beat. Ippo did have the dipsy roll though, but Mac's superhuman eye was able to squash that in seconds. Mac has built his entire career on timing perfect counters. It's no stretch to say he could counter the dipsy roll. But isn't Little Mac supposed to be a lightweight, people are going to ask, or asked to be a glass cannon? Well, that may be true, but that's compared to the fighters in the WBBA. Mr. Sandman can punch through walls. Bald Bull can freaking wrestle bulls. Piston Honda can outrun bullet trains. These are people that you would consider a glass cannon to. These are people that done the impossible, and Little Mac has defeated them all. You get the idea? But what about Kojima Hisato? Couldn't he punch with 2 tons of force? True, But let's not forget, that thing was measured by an arcade game, people, which is by Kanjiba's own admission, inaccurate. And while Ippo knocked him out with one punch, Little Mac has done that a lot. Fact is, Little Mac superhumans regularly. So with Mayata's punching faster than the speed of sound and Itachi's preserving time faster than anyone else, Hajime no Ippo might get there one day. But in the end, we have to leave. Little Mac served a Big Mac strong enough to take down Makunouchi Ippo. And I bet a lot of you Leopold fans or Hajime no Ippo fans are going to be angry about him dying to Gigamax. So I'm going to do something special for you guys. If I get 5 round 2 comments, I'll be doing a round 2 without the Gigamax. But right now, let's go on to the next fight. Next time on Fictional Characters Collide.
I will slay now.